TempChecker is a web-based service that records the arrivals and departures of temporary employees, both at a particular facility and at the specific cost center or department where they work. The service securely stores the information on the web, and from there, TempChecker offers a variety of management reports designed to add a higher degree of accountability and professionalism to the temp timekeeping process. Another goal of TempChecker is to provide usage information in a variety of formats to promote increased temp worker productivity. As you will see, the various TempChecker reports show a wide variety of information useful to the immediate operational managers, either user or provider, as well as more senior managers that want to see trends and comparisons. These reports are available to any authorized manager using any computer, anytime. To get a better feel for the reporting capability, let's look at an example company, Highland Industries. Highland Industries has 3 different facilities: Highland Fiber Container, Highland Manufacturing, and Highland Transportation. Each facility has a variety of cost centers where the temps actually work. For example, the cost centers for Highland Manufacturing include assembly, maintenance, quality control, and recycling. While each facility is located in a different area, they are close enough to be supported by 3 different staffing agencies: Labor General, Upstate Job Force, and Workforce One. TempChecker reports can focus down to a single worker on a single day from a single staffing agency working at a single cost center, or they can consistently summarize the collected information at any organizational level all the way up to corporate. Let's first look at a detail report for Highland Manufacturing. The report options for Highland Manufacturing are shown on this screenshot. In this example, we want to compare actual on-site hours to staffing agency invoiced hours. As a result, we choose the Provider Detail Report. When you choose a report, you will see this screenshot. You will need to select the report's start and end date and time. As you can see, the selection is very exact, and that's because every staffing agency's report periods are also exact. The staffing agency week normally begins on a Saturday or Sunday at midnight and runs exactly 1 week from that start point. In this particular example, all agencies start at midnight on Saturday. As a result, in this example, we will select a start time of midnight on 9/4/11 and run through midnight of 9/10/11, exactly 1 staffing agency week. Next, we will select the staffing agencies we want to review and compare. In this case, we choose to select all the agencies that could provide temps to Highland Manufacturing. After we make our selection, we click Run Report. The report heading will confirm the choices you just made. Next, you will see a summary of the totals for that report period. Those totals include the number of different temp workers, the total number of worked periods, and the total number of on-site hours. The details are by individual. You will see when each temp entered the facility, the elapsed time it took them to go from the entrance to their cost center, the time spent at the cost center, when they departed the cost center, and eventually when they departed the facility. It's clear, objective, and exact. The first 4 pages show all the temps from Labor General, and Labor General's totals are shown on page 4 of 8. You can now compare those totals to Labor General's invoice. The remaining 2 agencies are shown on pages 5 through 8. You will also note on page 4 that Yvonne Stanger failed to sign into the facility on 9/11. It is inevitable that missed punches will occur. With the user's permission, the provider may be permitted to correct this mistake. Until that correction is made, the report will show 0 hours for that temp on that date. If permission is granted, the data will be adjusted, but the correction will be bolded so that everyone knows a correction was made. Now let's look at a summary report for Highland Manufacturing. For that same week, let's compare temp usage by cost center. Go through a similar selection process and choose the cost center summary report. This report summarizes and compares the on-site temp hours for each cost center. The travel time to and from the cost center and other non-cost center time is not included. Those times are labeled as unknown and shown on other reports. Now let's look at the cost center data for Highland Manufacturing for a longer period in a trend report. First of all, from the Highland Manufacturing report options, select Cost Center Comparison Stacked Bar. On trend reports, first you select the start date and time. Note the default start time is midnight. Next, you select the time period, days, weeks, months, quarters, years, etc., and then the number of periods. In this example, we are selecting groups of 7 days or a week, and then you ask the report to display 8 weeks of data. Click Run, and you see this. Each trend report includes 2 sections. The first section shows a graphical representation of the data, and the second section shows the numerical statistics upon which the chart is based. As you look at this report, you can see a color-coded representation of cost center temporary employee on-site hours over an 8-week period from 9/4 to 10/23/11. The second section shows the actual numbers. Now let's move up the organizational ladder to corporate. This screenshot shows all the reports available to Highland Industries. Corporate tends to be more interested in trends, so let's select the Organizational Comparison Clustered Bar report. As mentioned earlier, trend report setup is a little different. First, you select start date and then periods. You will also need to select what facilities and what staffing agencies you want to compare. For this particular example, we choose all facilities and all agencies. Click Run, and you see this. In the first section, you see the graphical representation comparing temp hours at all 3 facilities over 8 weeks. Blue is for Highland Fiber, green for Highland Manufacturing, and red for Highland Transportation. As mentioned earlier, the second section shows the numbers. Now let's see a graphical comparison of the temp hours from our 3 providers: Labor General, Upstate Job Source, and Workforce One. Initially, we define the period over which we want to see the comparison. This time, let's use months, January through October. Once our selection is made, we click Run and see this. Here we see a line graph comparing the hours provided by each agency over a 10-month period. You can also see a dramatic increase in temp usage starting in September. The second section, of course, includes the numbers.